What's up, everyone? You are tuned in to the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 703. It is Christmas Day. This is not live. With me tonight is Mick from Corners of Sanctuary. What's up, Mick?
Hey, how you doing? Happy holidays, everybody.
We are actually recording this the day after Thanksgiving. So to give you, my kids, as soon as Halloween is over, my wife and my kids start into the Christmas thing, and I'm always going, it's not even Thanksgiving yet. So we had to wait until the day after. But we are featuring all unsigned bands playing Christmas music on this episode. We actually have already played 5 songs, so I want to touch on those real fast. We had Amber Alexis and their cover of Oh Holy Night. We had Joe Waderick, Jeff Jimerson, and Pete Hewitt and their song That Silent Night. We had Rising Regina and their take on Away in a Manger. And we had ZMW and their song, The Christmas Song. And now we're chatting with Mick.
Hey.
So, Mick, the reason Mick is on this episode is because his band, Corners of Sanctuary, records a new Christmas song. Is it every year?
Every year for the last 12 years, yes.
So we are going to feature that song, and the album art is actually behind us in the video right now. But we'll get to that later. So, Mick, I do have some questions for you, and they are going to be holiday related.
Sure.
We're going to start off. Do you have any stories about getting like instruments or musical, any like gifts that led you to where you are now?
Wow. I think, well, I when I was a kid, I started out on drums, and I did get a blue sparkle Ludwig jazz kit one Christmas, and I guess I was about 7 or 8, and that was pretty exciting. It was a used kit, but I didn't know the difference. It was a 4-piece, but it was like, that's pretty much where, for me, kind of started, looking to play an instrument. I started on drums. I did that for about 5 years or so, but that was a pretty cool holiday. My parents bought me the drum set not to be the next, jazz drummer or anything like that. I was what they called back in the 70s a hyperactive kid. So someone had said, "Hey, you need to get him to get rid of that energy," and someone suggested playing drums. So my mom convinced my dad to get me drums, and I think my mom regretted it pretty quickly following that Christmas. So, but it got me started. I realized that I wanted to write songs, and doing that on drums, I wasn't able to do. At least it wasn't coming out the way that I was hearing it in my head. So it was a transitional instrument to play guitar, but I appreciate the time that I had with the drums. And I continued to play on and off throughout the years. It has given me a better understanding when I am talking to a drummer and we're working on material, so I don't sound like I'm just kind of pulling things out of the air. I have some relation to the instrument, so it's helped.
I wanted to be a drummer when I was a kid, but I was playing baseball, soccer, football, and other things, and my parents were like, "You don't have time for that." And then my son, they bought my son a drum kit for Christmas.
Oh wow, awesome!
I was like, "What's going on with this?"
Role reversals, yeah. I was never really heavily into sports. I boxed as a kid because my dad boxed in the military, so he wanted me to be a boxer. I took a lot of shots to the head, and I realized that may not be too healthy for me. I played soccer too, but I was never really big into sports, so I kind of gravitated towards the arts. So
I only played 2 years of soccer because I don't like running.
It's funny because my coach said I did too much running. I ran too much. I needed to kind of focus in a little bit. So, but listen, when you're a kid, you're just excited to be part of a team sometimes. So,
Um, what what is I don't know how I want to word this question. So you've recorded 12 Christmas songs. When
Well,
did that start? Like when did you go, this is what we're gonna do? And
well, well, we actually have more than 12 Christmas songs. We have a lot more. We've done a lot of original songs, and that's what we focus on more often than not. But we've also done some of the traditionals. We've done like Jingle Bells. I should say we've done versions of some traditionals, like Hark the Herald Angels Sing. We have a version of Silent Night, which we re-released 2 years ago. We've done, like I said, Jingle Bells. Um, there's been a number of them. I can't even. Oh, Come All Ye Faithful. We did a piano version of that. There's a couple other ones I just can't think of right now. But listen, if anybody that follows me or my podcast or whatever, they know that I love Christmas, and I pretty much talk about Christmas all year round. I celebrate Christmas in July. It's just a thing. I love Christmas music. I'm not exactly sure why, but ever since I was a kid, there was something magical about it, right? I bought it hook, line, and sinker. I think one of the downfalls of life is when and I hope nobody under a certain age is listening, is when we find out the truth and we lose some of the magic. We lose that belief in things. I try to hold on to it. I mean, I know what reality is. I'm not that goofy yet. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with, kind of holding on to it and looking at things in a hopeful light. So I like Christmas music, and I always wanted to write it. And I just never had an outlet to do it. And a lot of the bands that I was in, they had no interest in anything of that. So when this band started, one of the first things that I had said when I was putting the guys together is like, listen, I want to do holiday music. I think it's really cool. And so selling that was a bit of a strain to some degree, because no one had ever done it in that I was working with, and they wanted to make sure that it didn't have like this heavy religious content to it. And I says, no. So we did our first one. We started working on it in 2011, pretty much when the band started, but we didn't release it until 2012. And it went over really well. It was it actually had a little bit of religious content to it, but not too heavy. Like, it talked more about the spirit of the season without necessarily saying it. And that was part of what we talked about. Like, we didn't want to hammer people over the head with anything. I mean, metal bands had done, stuff in the 80s and all, but it was all kind of tongue in cheek stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't really taken seriously until, Sabotage changed to TSO, and then Christmas music is a multi-million-dollar thing for metalheads now. But the following year after that, what we did is we did like Jingle Bells and Joy to the World. That's the other one. So we took the main part of the song, and then we added our own stuff to it. Later on, I added some vocals to those songs as well, to add more of our own personal stamp. And by that second year, we were starting to get airplay. We realized very quickly that we were getting airplay on internet radio and FM stations that we would never be able to get our material on, because Christmas music is non-threatening. There's a genre to it, but it's an open format. It doesn't matter who you are. So on a business sense, it was really keen to do. And I was like, well, why not continue this? We weren't planning on doing it every year. It was going to be something that we did, as we felt could be mixed in, worked in. We started getting messages. Hey, you guys doing a Christmas song this year? We were both getting it from radio stations.
I sent you that message a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple of times. So every year we get dozens of them, even that we now talk about. It's an annual thing with us. Like, it's part of, I realized this year how much it's become part of, I guess, who this band is, because I've already started writing next year's song, and I usually do that during this time because there's a super inspiration to happen. And then after the beginning of the new year, I let it sit, and I'll think about it, and I'll go back and forth, so that by the beginning of the summer, we're starting to put it all together, and we always record it in August. And I'm usually jazzed up because, like I said, I celebrate Christmas in July. I do a little tree, and I do dinner, and we do Pollyanna and stuff like that. Why not, right? Whatever, you can call it what you will, but so that I'm all ready to go by August. With the jingle jangle. So listen. I really enjoy doing it. The guys enjoy doing it because it's a break from the norm, and we get to experiment with different things. We tried more of a punk sound, or we've done more of a country acoustic type thing. We've done piano. We've done, and it opens it up, man. The thing is like as a songwriter, which I'm working towards being, rather than just a heavy metal musician. I'm not even sure I play metal because I like metal, but I want to be more than just that. Like, I think there is more than just that. Like, if you understand music, it's more than just the genre that you play. And this is an opportunity to break the norm and have fun with stuff. And for all the people that hate it for whatever reason, maybe they hate Christmas, Santa didn't give them the Monopoly set that they wanted as a kid. There's been thousands of people that seem to really enjoy it, and we're going to keep doing it for as long as this band's together. So appreciate all the support.
So we're going to play. We're going to take a break, and I'm going to play 4 more Christmas songs, including your song, Get on the List. And we'll talk about that in the next segment, which is going to be a little shorter. But so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and take that break, and we'll be right back with Mick. Later, at the end of the show, we're going to play 4 more Christmas songs. They are a brand new song that was sent to us, Melanie Gillott, When Christmas is With You, Rockabilly Junction's song, Finally Christmas Eve, Eddie Mann's song, which is Rejoice, O Come Emmanuel, and Richard Lynch's song, Cowboy Christmas, which is a country song, but we're going to go ahead and play it anyway. And what's going to happen is we're going to have some fun playing all that Christmas music. And Mick is back with me now. And okay, Mick, so tell us a little bit about the song "Get on the List."
Where else would you want to be, man, than on the nice list, right? If you want to get stuff, it's just a play on thing. Last year when we were doing the promo for Christmas Together, my daughter had said something to me and said, "Hey, Dad, what do you think about, doing this whole thing about, getting on the list?" And she gave me this idea, and we talked about it, and I was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." So that's what inspired this whole thing about get on the list. Like, are you on the list? And where else do you want to be during this time than on Santa's list, so you get what you want, And we just, had fun with it. And I think it's a good message. Listen, it doesn't hurt to be nice, especially now. Some people are only nice during the season. Hey, we'll take what we can get. But if we can carry some of that over, right? If we can carry some of that over, man, maybe the world will be a better place. I know that sounds so corny and stuff, but the older you get, man, the less conflict you want. And you want to be hopeful that tomorrow is going to be a better day. So and the other thing too, on a writing note, we decided to make the song super short. There's really one main verse, and then we go into the chorus, right into a bridge, and then there's a short second verse, if you want to call it, right before the breakdown, and then just hammer away at the chorus at the end. But it's in and out, right? In and out. We don't want to belabor it. Be nice, get on the list, get what you want. Everybody's happy.
So I'm going to tell a story from when I was a kid, and then I'm going to ask you for one. So you have to think while I'm talking. So my little brother, who's 5 years younger than me, used to guess what all my gifts were before I opened them, and he was always right. And it got a little annoying. um, the year I got my goalie equipment for street hockey, every piece of equipment he told me what it was before I opened it, and I'm still upset.
Well, I'll tell you what. Either he was sneaking around and he took note, or he was really paying attention to what you wanted to. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But I'm going to go with the first. I'm thinking maybe he was sneaking around.
He might have been.
You know what I mean?
So what's a memory you have
for the holidays?
Yes.
I'll tell you, like somebody, I was just asked this too not too long ago, and there's I mean, I guess what it came down to is like I just remember times of like coming down the steps and seeing the tree. Like I mean, with any kid, you're up earlier than because you're anticipating the whole time. You barely sleep. It's like you're trying to. I mean, I remember trying to stay up to see if I could hear Santa, right? And you never seem to make it. But then you're up real early, and you just I did some peeking and stuff like that. But I just that. And I know, like growing up, we didn't have a lot, so it was kind of like bare bones. But we did. But as kids, you didn't know it. It's not like we went around and talked about it. So just that magical moment within that first couple minutes of coming down the steps and seeing the tree lit up, even though you've seen it, my family had the tree up already, but it took on a whole different light, and everything was laid out, and it's just that thing, man. And I think what I go back to over and over again is not necessarily a specific physical type of memory. And it seems, unfortunately, the older I get, the less and less I'm remembering. Like things are like made foggy or whatever. But it's that feeling of this magic that existed. And again, I know that may sound corny, but I try to hold on to that, man. There's just really something about it. I mean, I don't know. That would probably be the thing that it sticks with me the most. I mean, I do remember, the Christmas I got, when I got Star Wars stuff, like in the late '70s. So there was like that, and for the next couple Christmases, that's all you expected. That's all you wanted. It's like, oh my God, this is, but I remember that stuff. I mean, prior to Star Wars, I mean, I remember getting a red Tonka truck, the fire truck from the '70s. I still have it actually, and I remember getting $6 Million Man dolls with Bigfoot and him and the little eye.
What's his Majors? Lee Majors.
Yeah, Lee Majors. So yeah, I mean, so that there was something. I know this sounds weird too, but more of my Christmas toy memories. I definitely remember more of the '70s than I do the early '80s. Which is kind of cool. I don't know. There was something really cool. Even looking back, because I collect toys. Not everything, but I do have a little toy thing that I've always kind of collected. And I even today I'm still kind of drawn to '70s toys. There's just something about them. I don't know what it is, man. Is it the imagination? Is it what they were trying to like, because a lot of this stuff hadn't been really worked out. It was just like, hey, here's this thing, and it's like, oh wow, this is awesome. And there was so much of it. But then in the '80s, things became there was more of a commercialism to things because they again, not to kind of go off track here, but toys were connected to cartoons, and that they sold toys through cartoons. He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and so on and so forth. Where in the '70s, it wasn't necessarily the same thing, for at least it wasn't the same.
That may have come about from Star Wars, since you mentioned.
Yeah, it may have.
But hey, Mick, we're kind of low on time.
Okay.
Because I am playing so much Christmas music on this episode. why don't you mention where people can find your band, and any, maybe if you have a show coming up. I know that's might not be as easy to do because it's actually the day after Thanksgiving, and we're talking a month from now.
Oh, absolutely. So you can check out the band Corners of Sanctuary at cornersofsanctuary.com. You can link to all our social media sites, Facebook, Twitter's now called X or something like that. Instagram, things like that. You could do a search in Google. You get a ton of stuff, good and bad, and even some free stuff that you could probably download. But I don't recommend it because it's never good quality. But cornersofsanctuary.com. For the new year, we have some shows. We got a show January 6th at Tom and Jerry's with Denim and Leather. We have a show February 16th with Spread Eagle at Halftime Sports Bar in Newark, Delaware. And then we have the circus comes to town, or I'm sorry, the metal circus comes to town March 9th at the Oddity Bar in Wilmington, Delaware.
Very cool.
See you there.
I want to thank you for hanging out with me again.
Thank you.
We will do it again for sure.
Absolutely. Happy holidays, everybody. Make your merry metal Christmas.
Okay, so I mentioned them earlier, but we're going to hear When Christmas Is With You by Melanie Gillott, Rockabilly Junction's track Finally Christmas Eve, Eddie Mann's track Rejoice, O Come Emmanuel, and Richard Lynch's country song Cowboy Christmas. And make sure you join us each and every week for a brand new episode of the Pennsylvania Rock Show.